Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to do a video today about something that's not really been covered, certainly not what I can find anyway. More specifically, this monitor here. There's no videos whatsoever about this out there, so I thought I'd make a video about it. If you don't know what these are, they're actually studio monitors for broadcast video cameras. Hook onto the top. They can go on full-size studio cameras, or some of them can, and also your shoulder type camera as well. You can take the viewfinder off, the eyepiece viewfinder, and put one of these on in its place. I have since found the instruction manual for this and the service manual while I was making the video about this. Of course, it always happens towards the end, doesn't it? So I've managed to find a bit more information out about it later on in the video. These can be quite expensive when they were new. This one here, there's one on the internet at the moment for £8,000, would you believe it? This is my most recent one from 2010. These here go back to the early 2000s, these two here. What interests me in this one is, apparently it's a multiscan monitor and it'll take a 1080i input. But I'm really hoping it's going to take a 4:3 input, standard definition input, just using composite video. I've had this about 2 years now. I paid about 50 quid for it. Done nothing with it yet. I was going to get rid of it, but I thought to myself, do you know what, it looks so cool. It looks like it belongs out of something like a Blade Runner or an Alien movie. I just love the industrialness of it and all the different points of movement it has as well. You can tilt it there, and you can also tilt it downwards as well. But yeah, I think it looks absolutely amazing. I think it'll make a very good gaming monitor. So in today's video, we're going to be opening this up and having a look inside, seeing what makes it £8,000 new. And we'll have a look at it and see if we can get something connected to it, get some power into it. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get it working again and useful, to be able to use it for something. Because I'd love to see it up and running. So for that and hopefully more, stay tuned and I'll see you right after the intro. Okay, before we open that one up and have a look inside, I thought I'd just go over these with you quickly and have a look at these. This one here is not in very good shape actually. It looks like it's been dropped because the tube's slightly set back, although it does actually work. Unfortunately, it's missing its brightness switch there. This one says CNN on the top. It must be CNN UK. I took the bracket off of this one to use on another one over here. They all use, I mentioned that D-plug before on that one, but they all use their own different system. And this one here, again, has got its own system there, like a DIN plug. And you can get different cables basically with a different plug on the end. That one there's like that. And this one here is different again. This one here is for later cameras from mid-2000s, I think, if I remember rightly. And again, that has its own proprietary connection on the back, which is really annoying. Both 5-inch screens. And then we've got this early one here. This is from the early 80s. I think that's about a 4-inch screen, 4.5 inch. And that uses the old DIN type plug. And that plugs directly into the, not just the camera itself, but also into the CCU unit, which I showed in the previous video. So let's have a quick look over this one that we're going to be looking at today. Look at its controls that it's got. It's got power on off, peaking, adjustment on or off, contrast, brightness, and you've got 6 lights on this all the way around. Not sure what they all mean. I'll look in the manual later probably. And this one also says HDVS, HD video screen, I guess that means, multiscan. And it looks like the previous owners scraped off some labels there. That looks like a serial number. I'm not sure what that one would have been. This is the canopy that comes with this. It clips on and it just screws down at the front there. And you can also adjust it there as well. It's all felted on the inside there to reduce reflections. You can get some different versions of this as well. One that goes right up to the eyes. It's quite long. So you can just see what's going on inside the viewfinder itself. This is the adjustment area around the side there, actually locking area. Again, that's for adjusting as well. And you've got that part there to adjust, so you can tilt the monitor right down. And there's the D plug on this one. 25 pin D plug when not all the pins are connected. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 pins on that one. There should be a tripod adapter out there. I've got one here. A smaller version of this, but unfortunately it's missing on mine, and that's what allows it to connect to the top of the camera itself. Sadly I don't have that part, but I don't have the studio camera, I never will either, due to the size of them and obviously the cost, because they are absolutely massive. As you can see, the viewfinder I have in my hand there looks absolutely tiny on top of the camera. Got the model number there, HDVF-700A, DC 10.5 to 17 volts, and 33 watts it consumes up to. That'll be obviously at its brightest. And the weight of this unit is 5 kilograms. And the manufacturer's date, April 2010. This is probably, this is my most recent, oh that's just dropped off again. This is my most recent piece of broadcast equipment for age. I don't have any cameras as modern as this, unfortunately. But they still get used, obviously. They're still being used out there in television. Yeah, unfortunately, that was actually broke off. When it came in the post, it was broken. I did glue it back on with some super glue, but it's just dropped off again, unfortunately. I guess I didn't quite put enough glue on it. And then on the back there, you've got your tally light. So that lights up red usually. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I managed to find the instruction manual and the service manuals for this. So let's have a quick look at that, shall we, and have a look at the specifications of this monitor. So as you can see, it says it's a multiscan monitor, in addition to the 60i formats such as 24p SF and 50i supported for control signals from the camera. Also has 16:9 capability. I'm assuming this is switched on the camera itself between 4:3 and 16:9. Says high resolution there, providing 800 lines of more of horizontal resolution. Stable picture. High voltage regulation circuit to provide a stable image with a minimum of distortion regardless of the screen brightness. Continuous variable peaking, and the tally lamp on this model can illuminate in red or green. And it has a drip proof construction. So basically it's okay in light rain showers. I'll leave these next pages for a few seconds on the screen, so if you want to read them you can pause them. And now for the bit more interested in the specifications themselves. So it's a 7-inch monochrome CRT with 90 degrees of deflection. Deflection high voltage, brightness 500 CDMs, resolution 800 lines at centre, 600 lines at edges. Geometric distortion 2% or less, EHT voltage within 2%. EHT voltage is 12.5 kilovolts standard, so it's quite high then. Even for a little tube like this. So as I mentioned before, you certainly need to be careful while handling these things once they've had a charge. Lots of different supported formats there in 1080, or there's different frequency response on the vertical scanning frequency, but no mention of 4x3. It mentions 2 video inputs here, one at 1 volt, 75 ohms terminated, other one at 1 volt, SMPTE 240M at 75 ohms terminated. I'm not quite sure what that means. And it mentions the frequency responses there as well. So it's not looking quite good for 4x3 input on this device. It's quite possible that what the camera's outputting is actually high definition. That's all this monitor will understand, without some kind of a conversion cable. And the camera itself probably has some kind of processing to output that 4x3 image. Okay, so let's get this thing open. First things first, let's remove this canopy. Just look underneath quickly. That D plug that's there, there's a cable that runs from this, goes through here, it's just down at the bottom there, and that runs up the side of this into here. I think what I'm going to do, go for the obvious first, remove these 2 screws here and these 2 here, and I'm hoping the back will just slide off. So we'll try that first. At this point in the video I hadn't actually seen the service manual yet, and there are 2 different service manuals as there are revisions. Oh, and it has. Wow. Serviceman warning. Avoid possible exposure to X radiation. Take X radiation protective measures. See service manual for personnel during servicing. Well, that sounds a bit scary. The picture tube is critical to safety against X-radiation emission, replaced with a tube of the same type number for continued safety. Some kind of alloy housing there. Wow. That is a lot busier than I thought it was going to be. So the tube, it's not a Sony one, made by a company called Chungawa, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, which I'm probably not. There's a lot going on in here. Look at all those LEDs for the tally light. Amazing. It's interesting to think that CRT tubes were still being used in 2010, or were they old stock? As you would expect, there's no vents on this, so it's absolutely immaculate inside. Certainly is a lot more going on than I thought there would be. Got a feeling this is going to be all digital. I'm not going to be able to do anything with it. Let's get a closer look at all those things on the top there. Just look at all these adjustments. Why would it need that many? It's just a black and white viewfinder. Later on, while I was filming, I did some close-ups here to show you more clearly all the adjustments that are available. Altogether there are 31 adjustments just on this board alone. In fact, this is the main board for adjustments. There are just 2 more elsewhere. And as you can see, there's lots to be getting on with. And there's also some here, as you can see, are not populated, which must be for different machines. I guess these little packages here must be the drivers for all of these. The other 2 adjustments are on the larger board on the right hand side, sub brightness on the left there, and sub V center on the right. So my writing here, 60 posi, 48 posi, 50 H posi, 53 H, or yeah, 53 H position. In fact, they're all labelled up. H hold, H size. Wow. Certainly a lot of fine adjustment there. I guess because of the pitch is so fine, it's got a little bit more adjustment, like a computer monitor. Absolutely immaculate inside. Just see the neck of the tube there. I can see a board that says DF62 video, so I guess that'll be the video board. At the back there. On the bottom there, I've got the high voltage board. This board is labelled up VF75 and also contains the X-ray protection circuit. This here looks like a video processing board. Tally light, adjustments. And what's this one on the side here? This board's labelled up as DF63. It contains the sub-brightness controls and it looks like it also handles the deflection. I think what we'll do, we'll pop this top board off here to get a better look inside. I've never worked on any broadcast equipment this modern. So the date underneath says 2010. So at the time of making this video, it's only 15 years old. I've never plugged this in, so there's no danger of any high voltage. There we go. Better look at the tube there now. You see there's no dust on it whatsoever, no static dust. It's just absolutely immaculate, like it's just been made. And underneath this board you can see it says 69 mode select, and also scan select, F select, and power or NTSC, but these little pots for adjustment aren't actually here. Looking back at this while editing, I think I realise now that I don't think this tube has actually done any hours at all. I think it was probably bought and just put to one side, ready to be used. I wouldn't expect to see any bad capacitors in something this new. Brown capacitors, not seeing any manufacturer yet. A lot of voltage regulators along the side there, but they're not attached to a heatsink. So I guess they're not getting that hot. Oh, there is one down there that is. But that is a LA7837 88. It's got quite a number of legs on it, just in there. Need to find out where this cable comes in. So I want to find out where the power goes. I can see what's coming in at the bottom there because there's a little ferrite core around it. And I think what I can see, you probably can't see it from there, ferrite core is just down in the bottom there, and it's going just across here, and I can see the connector just down the bottom there. I can see another warning label at the bottom. There's a big core there. Shame I've not found the service manual. I do actually find the service manual later on in the video, and there's actually two versions of it. It's got a lovely alloy chassis. All this is aluminium. Oh, there we go, there's that plug there. I'm pretty sure that's the one that's coming from the D plug. I guess the only way to find out, I can just about get underneath, is to do a continuity check on the pins from that point there to underneath. I'm just going to pop this board back on and have a look at that inspection cover underneath to see if it will reveal some more secrets. I don't want this board to get damaged. I'll just put that one screw should be enough. I've got this nice inspection cover here, that's what it looks like. Although there are 8 screws altogether. I'm going to go for the obvious, the outer ones, or what seems obvious. Very interesting, isn't it? Never worked on anything this expensive before, or modern. Again, these screws aren't coming all the way out, so you can't lose them. That's brilliant. Like the IBM computers, or some of them. I bet you something's attached to this board. That's what those probably 4 screws are for. Here we are, yeah. I can see a fuse. Wow. So, I was wrong. That wasn't the cable. There we go. So, the cable that's coming from this D plug here through the side is here. We've got that part of it there. Some cables there, and as there's a fuse on this board, I would say the power will definitely be on this side of things. And then we've got some more cables here from it going over here. I have no idea what that is. Again, another ferrite core, and then there's a single white cable coming off of that, which goes off somewhere else. There's that fuse. Some more cores there. Very well made. It's like some kind of processing under there, which I hope it's not. There's packages there, look. We've got another warning sign. I think, let's have a look under this cover. I can trace some voltages. Oh, I've just dropped a screw inside. You can see it, but I bet it's not magnetised, is it? Oh, it is. It's all right, lucky. It's like one of those games, that little fishing game we had as kids, we had to hook out the fish for the magnet. Right then. Got some writing here. Effect dimmer, 12 volt adjust, G dimmer, R dimmer, don't know what that is. So it's this plug here. So I guess we can follow it from that fuse and find out which one's the DC input. Let's try and find the earth first, or ground rather. I will say earth, I mean ground. Here we go. So that's ground. And then we just need to find DC. Positive. Not the one next to it. There's none of them. So we'll go from one of these capacitors. Not getting anything off of those. So I guess that's not the DC then. Is it one of these? Well, let's go from the D plug to that fuse. Here we are. Seems there's 2 points for the DC on that. Later on, when I find the service manual, it shows the connections of the D plug, and there are strangely two 12-volt inputs on this. I'm not quite sure why, but both the cables, both the pins, lead to the same area. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 pins. Two have got continuity with the fuse. So it's none of them. Oh, wrong then. It's none of those. It's got to be one of these brown ones. Which I guess... Oh, there you go. Yeah, it will be. So it's coming off one of these brown ones. It's going through that massive filter. There's a really large filter at the bottom there. You've got 4 wires there. So basically, that one there is looking like that's where the power's coming in. But there is 2 of those on there. So it's going through this board and then back out again for filtering, I guess. So this is the DC input here then. So let's just check for the earth again. So one of these will be earth. Oh no, it's not. It must all be DC then. It did actually turn out that 2 of these were positive 12 volts and 2 were ground. I'm not quite sure why there's 2 cables coming in from 2 pins to 12 volt input. Maybe it's a fail-safe in case one of the pins gets damaged, who knows. Okay, so I found the 2 points of contact there for the plus 12 volts. So I'm going to power this thing up now for the first time and see what happens. Fingers crossed nothing goes bang or blows up, but you never know with these things. So we'll see. Let's try things out. Let's switch it on. So I'm going to turn the power onto that power supply first. The monitor is switched off. Okay, so that's powered up now. Let's see if anything comes up on the display. You can hear the high voltage. Got a line there going across the screen. It's behaving like there's not enough voltage. Well, there's not enough amps in my little power supply. I think it's only an amp. I think it needs a bit more oomph, doesn't it? So I'll try a different power supply. At least we're getting something. It's a start. Okay, I've got my bench power supply wired up to this now, which has a lot more amps in it. So let's see how we get on with this. You can hear the high voltage again. There we are, that's much better. Turn that contrast down. Oh, it's already down. That's the brightness, sorry. There we go. Ah, see, that's down. So that's the first time I'm seeing this powered up. It's drawing 2 amps, or 1.9 amps, 1.98. I've got 11.5 volts. So at least we know it's working. So the next thing to do then will be trying to find what the video input is, if there is one at all, because it could be digital. I'm hoping it will be analog. I don't see why it wouldn't be, but you don't know with these things. Next thing I'm going to do before I go any further is just have a look under this board to see what it says on top of these 2 devices here. So I can see some writing. I'm not quite sure what it is. That might help identify things. As for a video signal, if it's even possible. because I've got a feeling the signal going into this may be digital, but I don't think it is because there's not enough cables there, but you know, I just don't know. Here we go. No, they're just DC to DC converters. Never seen them like that before. This is a DC to DC board then, really. So, oh, hang on a second. I've just noticed another cable. A grey one there. I bet you that grey one there, you probably can't see it. This grey one, I didn't notice that before. I bet that carries the video signal, and all of these will be to do with those lights that are down the side of the screen. So I'll have a look at that next. Got to be careful I don't touch that, because this is the high voltage board here, and there'll still be power left in that. Got to be very, very careful. And I think that grey cable is going to go straight to this board here, or the sideboard probably, actually, now I think about it. Yes. Coscel's DC to DC converter, ZUW251212. It's all hidden away underneath. Did these just clip off? No. Soldered on, I can see the points now. I think that's them. It tells you the inputs there, that 12 volts in, and the output's 12 volts out. Volt plus com minus volts trim. RC minus volt plus volts. So I'll pop that back on. I think I might close this bottom up. Just don't want to short anything. Very interesting. Turn it over and see where that grey cable goes. Let's pop this one off again. I've had this off 3 or 4 times now. Just very conscious that the tube is now has a charge in it. Oh, I can see it. It's just on the back there. Okay, I think I found it. I'm not sure, but I think I might have found it. Let's wait for that to power up. Alright, let's try it again. I've got this little, my favourite test device, this little 1,000,001 games console with games we've never heard of. So let's try it. In that one. No. Oh, almost had something then. Oh, there we go. There's our analog input. I found it. Right, so that's brilliant then. I'm not sure, I can't see properly. I'm looking at the camera reflection or the screen, so I don't know what it looks like. So I'm going to solder a couple of wires on this now and do it properly. Brilliant. Right, let's find some cable. Exciting. Okay, as you can see, it's working now. I've got it wired up, but the picture is stretched. It's refreshing a bit there as well, isn't it? It's flashing a bit. So you can see it's off the screen. It's like it's out of phase. Not quite sure why. That blue square you can see there on the CRT screen, that's not from the screen itself. That's a reflection from one of my lights. I think what I might just do now is just try the actual video input, video signal from a camcorder and see what that looks like. Because this game is 4:3 and this monitor, and it seems to be set up for wide. I might be wrong. So we'll get a camcorder connected up next and try that. Okay, I've got an old camcorder out here. I'm just holding it with my hand. Just try it, see what happens. Yes, not right, is it? The picture's overlapped. So as you can see, we've got 2 images overlapping each other. This is obviously a 4:3 image going in, and it's split it into 2 signals. So I'm not sure what to do next really with that. I guess it doesn't understand the signal. Basically it needs to be 1080. I was hoping this monitor would auto switch, and it's not. You see the line there going down the middle where it's separated. I was hoping there'd be something to adjust to bring the two images into each other. Strange. I've not seen this kind of thing before. It's like there's two images coming through. Maybe something needs adjusting. Plenty to adjust in the back, but what I really want to find is something that will be to do with this. So I'll try that next. You can see it's flickering there as well. Sadly, later on off camera I shorted something out and now I only get a white image on the screen. I'm not getting any video signal whatsoever. I was trying to hunt about for another video input to bypass the circuitry for the high definition stuff, because I think this is only geared up to take a HD signal, and that's why it's all out of phase. One of my thoughts was to use the tube out of this and the yoke, take all the guts out, put a suitable driver board in, and probably add in a little computer like a Raspberry Pi or something. But for now I'm going to have a look a bit further, see if I can find out what exactly I did wrong with this. Just love the way all this is socketed. Got the deflection coil cables there that determine which way the image is going to be placed. I want a plug. Makes it so much easier. Speaking of plugs, one of the things I noticed on this, every single cable that's got a socket, the pins seem to be gold plated. And you can certainly tell when you're unplugging them, they just glide off very smoothly. There's no juddering because there's no corrosion on these. So they must make really good contact. I should imagine this is part of where that price is, using gold-plated terminals on the plug socket and the pins itself. And here's a picture here of the back of the tube with the socket off, and the socket plugs on lovely as well. It's very smooth. Well, some good news. I managed to find out just where I shorted out a component. It's basically when I was had my little game controller there, my 1001 games in one. I was touching it on some different terminals, and on pin 1 there of that socket, I touched it on there, and it looks like I've blown that little resistor, or certainly changed its value. The resistor value on it says 100. So I've changed that to a full size resistor because I don't have any surface mount ones. The voltage coming out of that pin 1 there is actually 80 volts, I think it was 88 volts. So that's obviously why it's blown it, and unfortunately I destroyed my little games console in the process. Sadly that will not be in any future videos, although I do have another one brand new in the packet which I may end up opening up. So that's good news. So I'm now back to where I started, so I'm going to show you some footage next of where I've gotten to and where we are with this. Something that did cross my mind with this monitor was I wondered if it was a NTSC monitor. I wasn't understanding the power signal, because sometimes that can get you peculiar results, so they usually just get a black and white picture. So I've got one of these little USB devices here that changes from HDMI to composite video, and it has a power to NTSC converter built in, or output should I say. But unfortunately it's made no difference. The picture's a little bit sharper using this device rather than composite, but I'm still getting the double image and the flickering, so that didn't work unfortunately. I did go through the service manual and look at the finer adjustments on that top panel there, board DF68 with all the adjustments, and nothing that I tried made any difference really. In fact, at one point I lost my horizontal hold, it kept on drifting, but I managed to get that back, I'm pleased to say. I did manage to bring the sides of the image in slightly, so I could see a bit more, but unfortunately I've not found a way to overlap those two images and bring them together as one. So I'm really not sure what's going on here. The picture quality on this is certainly very sharp. You can certainly see the fine pitch there compared to some of my other black and white television sets. You certainly can see there could be good quality here when it's up and running properly. I've plugged in my Space Invaders game here from the 70s, or a remake of it. This is actually black and white anyway. You can quite clearly see here how the picture is doubled over. But the image is very sharp, and this would make a very good little games console monitor actually, amongst other things. I've ordered some D-plugs for this so I can make my own cable up, so I can take away the solder cable on the side there and the composite video that's sold on the back and make a proper cable for future testing. But I think for now I've gone as far as I can go with this. If anybody else has any suggestions on what else I could try, or what else I could use to drive this, to get a signal into this that displays correctly, please let me know in the comments. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, there are no other videos about this out there whatsoever. In fact, information is very scarce. There are plenty of these on eBay, ranging from all kinds of silly prices, from £50 up to £800 even, with a couple of additional accessories. But I think I paid about £50 for this a couple of years ago now, and I've only just getting around to do something with it. Through my searching, I did find an adapter for this online, but the company that's selling these only sells it with the actual monitor itself. And this adapter will allow you to plug it into other types of broadcast cameras. I did ask them if they could tell me what the part number or model number is for this, but unfortunately they wouldn't answer me. So stay tuned for part 2, I guess. Hopefully somebody out there will be able to help us with this. You never know, I might get a cable for this that will convert things over from one standard to another. I'm definitely going to keep it for now because it just looks absolutely amazing. It looks like it belongs out of an old movie, doesn't it? Like an alien film or Blade Runner. Incidentally, if you're a fan of the Alien franchise, check out my brother's Alien fan film, little homage to the Alien Isolation video game. Somewhere I'm actually in it, although it's a very tiny part. I will add a link here and in the description. Well, I guess that just about brings me to the end of another video. I hope you enjoyed watching that with me. I went on a little bit longer than usual, but I wanted to show exactly what I do when I'm looking at things and trying to work things out. Somebody else out there may find this useful if they're ever going to look at the same monitor. Well, I guess that just leaves me to say, as always, thanks for watching, and until the next video, I'll be seeing you. And if you did enjoy watching this video, you may want to take a look at some of my other videos on similar themes. I'm always buying something on eBay, some more piece of technology, and trying to repair it. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe and share. Thanks for watching.